Anna-Lisa Dreyspring on row 9. And row 10, Norman Stanovics and Luke van Regensburg. Row 11, Andrei Stepanov and Maxi Fleischmann. Row 12, Miko Line and Mark Bateau. And row 13, Andreas Steer and Nicholas Olsen with row 14 on his own, Maxime Gravouille. Carts out on track then for the final race of the day. DD2 class for the 2-speed Rotax Max carts. Minimum weight 173 kilograms. Mojo slick tyres and drivers aged 15 and above in this category. There's the grid for you in full. They should all be there. And Matthias de Tige, the name that I guess stands out because he's the reigning champion there on the second row of the grid. But he certainly isn't guaranteed a win in this. In fact, I'm not sure he has had a win today, has he, so far? Lukovic going well.
He's not guaranteed the win and hasn't pulled in the wins, but it does, as we've said, Chris, represent a big improvement in his form of the last year and a half.
And Sean Slavin as well. He looks very strong today, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if he's battling for a race win in this final heat. Light just beginning to fade a little. Not because it's that late, but because of the slightly dark skies that we've got on this cold late March day here at Genk in Belgium for round 1 of the Euro Rotax Max Challenge. In May we'll be in Italy. In July we'll be in Lincolnshire, PFI, for a round in England, and then we'll be in France in the autumn for the 4th and final round of the championship. All that a very long way away though, because the first round of the championship, we're only on day 1 of the racing. We've already had 1 day, of course, of qualifying, and the big races, the pre-finals and the finals, come up tomorrow. More about that later, but let's concentrate on this race. And French Canchar, maybe he could just do with a win here in terms of just securing, because there are so many drivers that are banging wins and second places here. I'm wondering if he got a win here, it might just make 2 or 3 grid places difference come the pre-final. So it's a balance, isn't it, between making sure you get in the pre-final, but also making sure you aren't too conservative and finishing even a few positions further back than you ideally could. Otherwise it might, just with such a high level of competition, affect where you do start. Right, they're bunching up nicely now then, Ken, ready for 10 laps, which hopefully are about to burst into life with DD2.
Well, Ferenc Kankshar, born in Hungary and racing on a Hungarian licence now. Last 2 seasons raced on an Austrian licence, and it's an Austrian joining him on the front row, Sandro Lukovic. That's not a very level jump off, but it is a start, and Ferenc Kankshar leads from Matthias de Tige, who immediately takes the lead from him, if I'm reading that correctly. Matthias de Tige, the champion in kart 601. Have to say that Sandro Lukovic really was not competitive at the start, and that's much interfered with Sean Slavin. At first I thought that Sean was balked, then I wondered if Sean it was in second place, but no, I think that Sean has suffered from the slow start by Sandro Lukovic. Mario Wendler, also I think one of the people who would have preferred their man at the front to have gone a little quicker. Kevin Ludi, do I see in there? No, that's not Kevin Ludi that I'm reading. But Ferenc Kankshar can analyse what he did wrong at the start if he wishes. Kart number 601, Matthias de Tige, immediately getting the opportunity to assert himself early on in this one. It's the end of the opening lap. Ferenc Kankshar, it was Kevin Ludi who I identified in 3rd place, but didn't have the courage to go with it.
And Kevin didn't quite have the courage to pull off a move there for 2nd place into turn 1. He thought about it, he got close. Probably sensible that he backed out of it though in this early stage of the race. Through the shot they come, the top 5, de Tige, Kankshar, Ludi, Slavin, Oruk, Then 6th, Lukovic. Lambert in 7th place, Florent Lambert. Fantastic. He's already had one top 10 finish today, but Florent Lambert, well, he's been doing all the warm-up exercises, you see,
that's
hasn't
what
he?
it is.
The blood's flowing. He's hopping up and down on the grid, and he's ready to go. So there he is, 7th place. Terrific stuff. Kamali, Beji, and Marshall round out the top 10. Harold Gokaklis just outside the top 10. And second in the Masters is Dennis Kroos. He's down in 15th place. Matthias de Tees then leading them into the final corner of the lap. Here they come. On the brakes, Kanchar not really closing into the Belgian, to the race leader, and the reigning champion, Ludi, has just dropped back a fraction or two in 3rd position. They'll Concertina up under braking once more. We've had somebody off the circuit at turn 5, so there'll be yellow lights coming into the next corner, yellow flags as well. New lighting system all the way around the circuit to help the drivers identify. Yellow flags were out. That looked like an overtaking move, though, on the way into that corner.
Just had that suspicion of it, didn't it?
Kanchar then getting ahead of De Tees, but question marks over that one. The officials might want to take a look. We'll see. De Tees then looks like back down to 2nd place for the time being. Through the left-hand hairpin they come. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th, all covered by an imaginary blanket. On the brakes they come towards us once again. Kevin Ludi's bringing himself back into play in 3rd place as well. And in 4th place, Lucas Orrock has got ahead of Sean Slavin now. So Sean Slavin has just dropped back a little bit in this group. Over the line they now go. 54.9 second lap for the race leader. The other one in the 54.9s is Lucas Orrock. So he also
Lucas
on a pace.
Just had a look at Kevin Ludi's 3rd place, but thought better of it. But now he's made a mistake. And
Sean Slavin, is it getting through?
Yeah, Sean
to 4th?
Slavin going through, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. 2 Brits battling away then. Yellow flags withdrawn this time on the way into turn 5. Down the back straight they go. It's Kanchar 2/10 clear of De Tees, Ludi, Slavin, then Orrock, then Lukovic. Lambert 8th, so still in the top 10. He's lost a place to Kamali, but still going really well.
But still a stunning effort to get onto that 7th place, and 8th is fabulous. And you put it in context, Chris, when we say that Dennis Kroos is 2nd in the Masters, but he's in 15th place. Igor Mukin, though, is climbing, got into 16th place. And if I look for Igor Mukin and Dennis Kroos on track, I wouldn't be surprised if the Russian mounts something of a challenge. We're at the start of lap 5.
Lukovic has just got ahead of Slavin at the end of that lap. Oh, some action further back as well. And a change for 6th place. That's Kamali, I think, going through. And then Slavin gets him back. So that's all chopping and changing on the way through the middle of the lap in this battle for 6th place. He has let the first 5 go now, though. Kanchar, De Tees, Ludi, then Orrock, and then Lukovic coming back. Sandro Lukovic, as Ken said, with a sluggish start, really. He went from the front row down to 5th place pretty quickly. And if that's the right expression, and then didn't do much for a couple of laps, but now he is starting to come back into the mix, although the top 3, as you can see on the screen, have a bit of breathing space for the time being. Kanchar, De Tees and Ludi, the top 3, and then leading the next group in 4th place, it's Lucas Orrock.
Yeah, Lucas Orrock, we have been saying all day, and I'm just being boring with it, but it is a fact. Lucas Orrock doesn't win too many of these races, but he's not out of the top 5 very often, and he's not out of the top 5 this time. He's in a very safe-looking 4th place in front of Sandro Lukovic's 5th, Sean Slavin 6th, Kamali 7, and this fabulous effort by the first of the Masters, Flo Lambert, into 8th. Harold Gokaklis, from a disappointing qualifying position, is driving into the top, or has driven into the top 10 in 9th place, and Marcel, the German, completing the top 10. But you 1, 2 and 3, Ferenc Kanchar of Hungary, Matthias De Tees from here in Belgium, and Kevin Ludi from Switzerland, the Swiss Spirit Racing driver.
Just looking at Florent Lambert's lap times, 54.9 compares to Dennis Kroos with a 55.6. I go Mukin with a 55.7. He's 3/4 of a lap quicker than anybody else. He's really going well. He's mixing it with the big boys up there as well. So what we got, 4 laps to go, including the one we are on. And Matthias De Tees is clawing back the race leader now. He's bringing him back into his grasp. They go down into turn 5. Here they come with Kanchar and De Tees. This is the corner where they swapped positions, perhaps slightly dubiously, but we'll see. And then Ludi has just fallen away a little bit now, and perhaps into the clutches of Lucas Orrock in 4th place.
Yes, and Lucas Orrock helped Chris by the fastest lap, 54.315 on lap 6 by Lucas Orrock. So yes, you're reading it right. Lucas Orrock clawing away at Kevin Ludi's 3rd place.
I think he's been spurred on because he knows behind him as well. He's a very quick Sandro Lukovic, like the red suit, the bright yellow helmet. There he comes, the 5th one into your shot there on the screen. That's Sandro Lukovic on the 2nd row of the grid. Poor start for him, but he's now pushing on to try and catch those ahead. 1st and 2nd, the gap closes up. 3rd and 4th, the gap closes up as well. And you're right, Ken, Lucas Orok's the one to watch here from 4th.
Well, we're at the 3/4 race distance, just about 7.5 laps gone, or just approaching 7.5 laps, 2.5 to go. You'd be brave to call it with certainty from here. Yes, Ferenc Kankshar has got the advantage, and he's got a full kart length between himself and Matthias de Tige. But in the last 2.25 laps, would you absolutely bet against Matthias de Tige putting a pass on? These two ought not to be caught by Kevin Ludi and Lucas Orok if they don't do something crazy between them. But I believe that this has still got some legs in it as we come round to the completion of lap 8. With 2 laps to go, this race is not won and lost yet.
Lucas Orok has just got ahead of Kevin Ludi on the way to the final corner.
And Matthias de Tige takes the lead as well. Matthias de Tige got a really good clean run on Ferenc Kankshar, and the Belgian back in the lead. So your changes that you called in 3rd and 4th parallel with those in 1 and 2.
And there's been another one as well, because Sandro Lukovic has just got through to 4th place on the way out of turn 1 into turn 2, which means that Kevin Ludi's gone from 3rd down to 5th place now. Might be 6th as well. I think he's lost another one.
He has indeed. He's spilled a place to Sean Slavin, hasn't he?
Oh dear, that's not good, is it? All going well 1 minute, the next minute you're way back all of a sudden.
Flo Lambard drops down to 10th place overall, but still a very comfortable leader of the Masters, because his next nearest rival, Dennis Kroes, is 17th.
We lost Vendler at the start of the race. We lost Luke van Ravensburg as well, the South African, I'm afraid. And we also lost a couple of laps ago Norman Stanovic, one of the Masters drivers, who pulled off into the pits. Everybody else still running though. And we have got 1 lap to go, because they're on to the final lap of the race now. De Tige from Kankshar. You can see them going through the left-hander there, past Marshall post number 2. Lucas Orok in 3rd place, but Sandro Lukovic is catching him. He's faster than him in 4th place. They go through that turn onto the back straight. Sean Slavin has now set the fastest lap of the race. He's just behind them in 5th position, ahead of Kevin Ludi, bunching up now under braking. No change. Through the little flick of a chicane they go. De Tige hanging on to this from Kankshar. Kankshar and De Tige absolutely together in this one. And then what about 3rd and 4th? Is that going to change? Sandro Lukovic looking very strong indeed. Couple of corners to go. Going for a change. Oh, defensive driving.
But just closing the door on him.
Just about did, didn't he? And he needed to. And Sean Slavin has reeled him in as a result of all that. Coming out of the final corner then, Matthias de Tige wins. That's a statement we say quite a lot, isn't it? 2nd place, Kankshar. 3rd place, Orok. 4th, Lukovic. And Slavin, a great day for him. He rounds it out with a 5th place finish. Kevin Ludi in 6th position. Kamali, Garkaklis and Marshall. And then well done, Florian Lambert. In the top 10 once again. He's the leading Masters driver. So, Matthias de Tige there. Again, a calculated drive that, wasn't it? And good stuff from Lucas Orok as well, I thought. And Lukovic, Ken, coming back after a difficult start to the race.
Yeah, it would, we can't get Tiff to chat to him because Tiff's up here, but it would be interesting to know, was that a tactical move by Sandro Lukovic at the start, or did he just miss the start? But if he could have applied a fast start to the way he finished the race, he'd have been mixing it with Matthias and Ferenc probably.
It took him 3 or 4 laps to get back into it as well, didn't it?
Just to even get a handle on it.
They're the results then of the final race of the day. We're going to stay on air for a little while longer with you, but in terms of track action, that is it for today. But we have got lots of big racing with the pre-finals and the finals tomorrow. Before that, the second chance heats as well tomorrow morning. Matthias de Tige, Ferenc Kankshar and Lucas Orok, the top 3 over the line at least. Sandro Lukovic, Sean Slavin and Kevin Ludi, the next 3. Luca Kamali, Harold Skarkaklis, Pascal Marchal, Florian Lambert, the top 10 as we said. Then it was Alex Bergy, Alex Zenkin, Erwin Montfort, Gilles Bronder was 14th, Niklas Olsen, Maxime Gravier, Maxi Fleischmann also in the front half of the picture. And then in 18th place, second best of the Masters, was Dennis Kroes, Annalisa Dreespring and Andreas Stier rounding out the top 20. Iger Mukin with a difficult race once again, and he finished in the end outside of the top 20 and was 3rd of the Masters in that particular race. And as I said, Norman Stanovic, Luke van Rensburg and Mario Vendler, unfortunately for them, not finishing the race.
Yeah, just a little snippet on that, Chris. Jill telling me that Norman Stanovic was fetched in on a mechanical defects flag on lap 7. So although he wasn't a front runner, always a little bit unfortunate when your race ends like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But otherwise, it's been a really, really good day here. It's been cold for everybody out there. Not for you and I, Ken. We've been lucky. We've been inside and nice and warm and with the best view in the house here. But thank you if you've been watching here live from the circuit. Thank you for everybody watching online and for all your tweets and messages. Thanks to Tiff as well for standing out in like Siberian temperatures today. It's glamorous, this TV lark, isn't it? Well done, Tiff. Got hold of some good interviews for us today with the drivers and just really showing us what a great international field it is. And Ken, I'm always impressed with these young drivers who come and race overseas and just how educated they are and speak fantastic English. And it can't be easy to get the studies in to put yourself in this situation to travel across the other side of the world and then hot off the fantastic race, take their helmet off and they're speaking perfect English.
Well, I admire every single one of these guys that comes a distance to race with us because you're absolutely right. It's a huge change of culture for many of these people. Certainly the Aussies and the South Africans in their summer, the Malaysians and the Japanese, well, not the Japanese necessarily, but certainly the Malaysians coming over at any time are going to find the the European winter a little bit of a challenge, shall we say. So I do thoroughly admire them. And of course, as we've been saying, a Mexican from Central America, a Jamaican from Central America, one or two Floridians, you guess that they're finding it a bit parky too. But, and I've said this many times and I've written it in my columns in this karting press, it is the way to learn and to gain more wider experience. You get out of your comfort zone, out of your racing in your own continent, particularly people coming to Europe where the intensity is the greatest, and they will take that talent back home and find that their domestic form will immediately improve, but better still, they'll get better and better at a truly international level. Remember, the Rotax World Challenge final this year is in North America for the first time, so one or two of these guys from North America mixing it here may well just have an eye on that in 8-9 months' time.
Yeah, won't be quite as cold there, I don't think. Hopefully not, says Ken. Right, thank you for a fantastic day. I guess before we wrap up the commentary, what we should do is, for those of you listening online, just give you a bit of an overview as to the timetable for tomorrow. And don't forget, as we've been saying a couple of times, we move forward an hour in Europe tomorrow, so we gain an hour. So everything, I suppose, starts an hour earlier if you work it out like that, if you're watching from a non-European country. So tomorrow, the action begins on track, and I'm sure we'll be covering it live on RGMMC TV with the warm-up, and that will be from 9 o'clock. DD2 go first, then juniors, then seniors. And those are the slowest qualifiers, and then we have the fastest qualifiers from each class going next, DD2, juniors and seniors. So warm up from 9 till 10 pretty much, or 9:50. And then the first racing action of tomorrow is going to be the second chance heats. So we will have the DD2 second chance heat will be the first race of the day, and that will get underway at 10:10. Then second chance heat for the juniors, then for the seniors. Those are the drivers that haven't managed to qualify automatically for the pre-final. The top 6 in each of those races joins the back of the grid for the pre-final. Pre-finals then start at 11 o'clock Central European time, or 11:20 actually, when they actually hit the circuit. So 11:20 local time, the first pre-final. That will be Rotax DD2. At 11:40 we will have the junior pre-final, and at 12 o'clock at midday we will have the senior final. And then in the afternoon, the round 1 finals, we will have the DD2 final due to get underway at 13:30 tomorrow afternoon, the juniors at 1400 hours, and the seniors will be underway at 14:30 with the podiums etc due to take place and be wrapped up around about 1600 hours tomorrow. So thank you for joining us online. I hope you've enjoyed the commentary and the thoughts of Ken Walker, myself, Chris Hartley, and from Tiff Chittenden down in the pit lane, a very cold pit lane. It's hopefully be slightly warmer for her tomorrow. So thank you for watching online. We may be back on air a little while with some thoughts from the interview room to close out the day. But in terms of track action, that is just about it. So we'll take a break now, but I think you'll hear from Ken, myself, and from Tiff down in the studio in 5 or 10 minutes' time with some closing thoughts on the day. Until then, take care.